Hello and welcome to my second decoupage video. I'm going to show you how to decorate the jars that we've prepared with serviettes. We've got the one that we did with books and we've got the gesso jar. So I've just got a couple of serviettes here, some nice designs. These have got white backgrounds. They work much better on the books and on the gesso jars. If your serviettes have coloured backgrounds, you're probably better off to do it on a white gesso jar and then fill in different colours afterwards. You can also use tissues. This is just a little pocket pack of tissues that I've got, and we use them in exactly the same way as we use the serviettes. Okay. As well as the serviettes, we need some PVA glue with the broad brush. Okay. We also need a small pot of water with a very fine brush, and we need 2 pieces of blue tack, or white tack as this is. So I'm just going to show you how to prepare the serviettes. I'm going to start with the cat one. Now if we open it up, if it will open up, there we go. We can see that there's a lot of images on there and I only want one. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to separate the serviette. Now a lot of serviettes and tissues come in 2 and 3 ply. We only want the very top layer. The reason for this is if we put it on without separating the top layer out, it's going to bubble, particularly if we're using a heat source to dry it. The air pockets in between the layers are going to expand and cause bubbles, and that isn't what we want our jar to look like. To separate them, that's what we use the blue tack for. We put the blue tack either side, squash them together, and then pull them apart carefully, and this starts to separate the layers out. Okay, so if we just grab hold of those separate layers, put the blue tack down, separate them out. There we go, and then we just pull the plain white off. Okay, now if we have a look at the back, it's still very white, and that tells me that there's another layer on here. So we're going to separate those again, pull them apart. There we go. Put the blue tack down. There we go. And if we have a look at the back, we can start to see the image coming through. So that tells me there's only one ply, one layer left. Okay. Now what we want, I'm just going to use this one image here onto the jar that we've done with the books. To do this, we use a little bit of water and paint around the image. And I'm going to show you why in a minute. So let's just paint around it very quickly. There we go. And this enables us to pull that part of the serviette away. Okay, there we go. Let's just move that out of the way. Any wet edges or any straggly edges we can take off. If we don't take these off, they're likely just to separate when we put them on the jar. And we don't want that because that's going to leave very messy edges. There we go. So to put it on, we have our jar. We place the image where we want it. Now, when we put the book on, we put glue underneath and on top. And the reason for this was because books are usually quite thick. Serviettes, particularly when they're separated into their layers, just one ply, are very, very thin. So just putting PVA over the top is sufficient because the glue will seep through. So we put that on where we want it. We take our glue, load the brush up. If you have too much, you're going to saturate the serviette way too much and that's going to rip. If it's too dry, that could also rip it. So we want just enough to be able to spread over the top. Start at the middle and work your way out, and you can press quite firmly here, and we can see that this starts to blend into the side, and that's the finish we want. Okay, so we just go around the whole thing. If your brush starts getting a little bit dry, pop a little bit more glue on there and work out again from the middle all the way to the edges and work it in really, really nicely. There we go, that's that one. So we can see the image almost looks like it's painted on top. There we go, that's that one. Just pop that to one side. Let's do the gesso jar now. So I'm going to use the vegetable one. Let's separate these out first with the blue tack. There we go. There we go, and another layer. I'm going to add this whole image, I think. So let's use the water to go around it. One of the reasons for doing this is we could cut it, but then that's going to leave really sharp edges, and that's not going to blend in as much as having a raw edge like this. So again, pull it away, and it pulls away really, really easily, and take off any straggly bits. There we go, and then that's ready to put onto our jar. Okay, so I'm just going to hold the image on with my hand like that. And again, we're going to start from the middle and work our way out. There we go. Keep loading your brush with glue. If you get a little bit of a crease in it, don't worry too much about it. You can always push these out with the brush. There we go, and that's one side done. Moving on to the other side. There we go. That's nearly finished. Work it in really, really nicely, but remember to keep your brush quite wet with the PVA. There we go. And you can see the white of the serviette has blended right into the gesso. So the image almost looks like it's been painted on, and that's the finish we want. So I'm just going to dry these off with a heat gun, then I'll show you how we're going to put string around the top of it. So the jars are dry now. Okay, that's the vegetable one on the gesso jar, and this is the cat one on the book jar. I've already put the string around the top of this one. This is just garden twine that I got from the pound shop, so very affordable. It's a 4-pack, you get 2 green and 2 of the natural coloured. So I'm just going to show you how I put the twine around. This is how I find it the easiest. Okay, start at the back of the jar. Hold some of the twine in your hand because we need this to tie off later, and then start wrapping it around. You can wrap it around as many times as you want. There we go. If it comes up a little bit, just work it down. There we go. Snip it off. Tie it into a double knot. And then just snip those ends off as well. There we go. So there's our finished jars. Okay. If there's anything else you'd like me to do, any other videos you'd like to see, let us know and I'll see if I can put a video together for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.